Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. For those new to the channel, my name's Sean, also known as Film Guru, and I started this channel having my same particular movies and a variety of other film content, so thanks for joining me today. Today I'm reviewing Oppenheimer. This was written for the screen and directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Jack Quaid, Matt Damon, Tom Conti and a variety of others. The film really focuses on Robert J. Oppenheimer, played by Cillian Murphy. And it looks at his early days of becoming as a student and trying to get a PhD in physics, and really these years shaped who he was and ultimately led him to become one of the most known and most famous physicists in the world, and ultimately creating the atomic bomb. It looks at the lead up to and the impact of that particular bomb, as well as other particular moments in Oppenheimer's life. His relationship and friendship with Albert Einstein and all the other people that he came in contact with. It's told in a kind of a documentary style in a way, from two different perspectives. One is Oppenheimer's, which is in color, and we get to see him experience things, so we see things through his eyes and certain things that he sees. And also, we also see it through Louis Strauss's eyes, played by Robert Downey Jr. All of this is shot in black and white, and it's a contrast between both, but it's telling the same story just from different perspectives. And it also looks at the impact of the atomic bomb and the effect that it had on Oppenheimer and the world at large. Look, I'm a Nolan fan. I like his movies. His last couple I haven't loved. Tenet was okay. I didn't really like Dunkirk. Sometimes I think when he's writing without his brother or another collaborating writer, he gets a bit lost in his creative ideas. He's definitely a revolutionary director in a way, and he's one of the greats in his particular circle. I just feel he gets a bit carried away sometimes and loses the focus of what the film's about. This film is beautifully shot and captured. It really puts you in there. I like that where we see things from Oppenheimer's point of view. So we see how his mind works and the things that he started to see and were impacted by, especially to do with physics and the state of the world and how things worked. And then after the dropping of the atomic bomb, how that started to affect the way he saw the world, and he started to see the effects of that. All the performances are great. It's such a great ensemble cast. Besides Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt's really great playing Kitty Oppenheimer, Oppenheimer's wife. She's really great and strong and stern, and she has some good moments in the film, especially towards the end with some particular thing that happens. I thought Matt Damon was great, playing General Groves, or Leslie Groves. I thought he did a really solid job. His presence was good. It's probably one of his better performances I've seen in a while, and I think that's the ability of Nolan to draw out really good performances by certain actors, and this is definitely one of them. I liked Florence Pugh's character in the film. She isn't in a lot of it, but she plays an important part and had an impact on Oppenheimer's life. And this is a really great moment between the two of them where they're sitting completely naked talking, and it's like they're stripped completely bare and being real with each other. I really love that scene. I like scenes like that where it's sort of stripping characters bare to show who they truly are and what they truly think and feel. The bit part players who had small roles all did fantastic. Josh Hartnett was another one I was surprised by. He played Ernest Lawrence, and it's the first sort of real decent role he's had in quite some time in my opinion, and I think he really shined. And of course Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic as Louis Strauss. You get to see a different side of Downey. It feels like the acting he used to do before he got involved in the Marvel films, and I really loved that. It feels like he's getting back to who he is as a performer, and he has some great moments in the film. He underplays the performance quite a bit of the movie, but it isn't until the last half an hour that he really shines and shows what he's capable of and shows his skills as an actor. And I really loved what he does here. In a lot of ways, this film's a who's who of actors. Casey Affleck appears, there's a variety of other actors that appear that you don't expect, but it just feels by putting them in it, it's just like when they appear on the screen, it sort of draws you, it takes you out of the film because you're like, oh, there's such and such, or there's that actor. And I think that they didn't really need to do that so much. They could have just made it simple and just had a few people or some unknowns, which sort of served as the purpose of these characters rather than known actors. But by far the best performance is Cillian Murphy. He's absolutely fantastic in it. He's in every frame. He gives Oppenheimer has such a depth and such a realism that I really loved, and he kind of looks like him. They did a great effort to make him look as much like Oppenheimer as he could, and I really loved that. I thought he just shined so much in the film. There's moments of really internal performance and downplaying certain things, but when he erupts, when he grows bigger, there's something extraordinary to behold of his performance. And just throughout the film, he's just fantastic in many ways, and I was really impressed with him. I was so happy he got to get a lead role like this, and he really shines here. Visually, it's what you expect from Nolan. It's big, it's grand, sort of taking this sort of simple story and drama, but sort of dramatizing it in a sort of blockbuster way. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Where it does work is like when Oppenheimer's testing the bomb for the first time, we see it explode, and there's just silence and this mushroom cloud, and then the after effect of that. It's beautifully captured. The sound's great. The use of no sound is even better. And it's just such a really cinematic and powerful moment. And that's the most cinematic and powerful moment in the film. There are sequences at the start where he envisions things happening. You get to hear and see and kind of feel what it would be like if there was an explosion. I liked that. I thought that was really cool. But there's some really solid and great moments throughout the film. Most of it is just performance-wise, and seeing things through Oppenheimer's eyes, and after the bomb drops, just to see how he's affected and what he starts to see and imagine about the impact of what happened. Where he's coming up with all of the things to make the bomb, where he gets involved in the Manhattan Project in Los Alamos, which is really great. This is something I've always been fascinated by, the Manhattan Project and what he crafted there, all the scientists he got involved in, what he was trying to do, and their families. And this aspect of the film I really loved. I wanted to learn more about this. This was something I've studied and looked at a little bit, and I quite enjoyed. And I like the things that unfold there and how he embraces who he is in a lot of ways. I think this is great. I think there's so many moments like that where there's just really good performances. I liked all the scenes with Albert Einstein. I thought that was really great, and you get to see their relationship with each other. I thought they're friends, but they look at things in a different way, and I really liked that. Tom Conti playing Albert Einstein is really great. An actor I didn't expect to portray Einstein, but he's so fantastic. I really love what he does. He isn't in the film much, but the moments he has are so great, so wonderfully crafted, and you just get a real sense of who he is and the relationship he had with Oppenheimer. I've always been interested in Oppenheimer, but I didn't know a lot about him, and I felt at times this film was more for people who had a bit of an understanding of who he was and what he did. That of people who may have read the biography that Nolan used for the film. I felt at times a bit lost because the film is a bit choppy, especially at the beginning. It jumps from one thing to another, and it's hard to comprehend what's going on or make sense of things. You really have to concentrate, and I think that's one of the downsides of the film, is it moves too quickly and there's too much going on that you sort of feel lost with what's happening, and that really took me out of the film, and I felt a bit disappointed that that was the choice that they made. At times it was a little incoherent, and for some reason, maybe it's because I went and saw it in VMAX, but I've seen him do it other times. His music is always too loud, so loud it drowns out the dialogue. There was so much I missed of the conversations and things that were happening that added to me feeling lost in the film. I just don't understand why you need to do that. I get it, you're trying to make it cinematic, you're trying to make it powerful, but if you're drowning out the dialogue, then that creating powerfulness is wasted because you can't hear what's going on. He had the same problem with Tenet. I must admit, when I saw Tenet later on DVD, I really could understand and hear what was being said, but there's something about, he's always creating loud music for some reason. I guess it's kind of a feel that he's going for, but yeah, that was really disappointing for me. And chopping and changing around things, I got a bit confused. Those are the negatives of the film that I struggled a little bit with. I must admit, overall, I thought it was a really wonderful film. Some people might struggle with the film. The fact that it's 3 hours long, you have to be really invested in it. You have to really concentrate on what's going on. You have to really like the subject matter and Nolan to really get the most out of this film. It isn't going to be for everyone, but I did enjoy my experience with it, even though there was a few issues that I found. Final thoughts. In the end, it's a really interesting biography of a very interesting man who at first was celebrated and treated like a celebrity, and then ultimately become a pariah of what he did, and because of the impact and the effect of what he did. And they all threw it on him, like he was the only person who created the bomb and there was no one else involved, and he took the brunt of the force. To the point that he was condemned and dragged through the mud and made look like he was a terrible person or a communist, and it just felt like he was really condemned, and I don't think he should have been for what he did. Yes, it was horrific. The atomic bomb was a terrible thing to be dropped on a country during a difficult time, and the impact is that, and I don't agree with the atomic bomb, but he did what he was asked to do. I'm going to give Oppenheimer 4 out of 5. Very solid and interesting film about an interesting character and a man who strove to be the best he could and to try and evolve and open people's minds. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe down the bottom and follow me on Letterboxd and Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.